Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome to This and That with Grandma Kitty. I am Grandma Kitty. We are looking at the planner because it's February and yep, I'm a few days behind and actually you're getting this posted a day later than it's supposed to be because why? Well, this is a refilming of yesterday's vlog because I inadvertently deleted the file, the entire 45-minute video for you guys showing you how to do the February uh, planner layout thing that I do. And again, it's just the way I do it. Everybody is, more creative, less creative, don't want to be creative. That's entirely up to you. Your planner, your choice, you do you. But I also talked about what we did over the weekend as I had wanted to for a Monday vlog. But like I explained in the video that got deleted, life happens, things come up, you get busy. Not that it's not important for me to, keep my end of the bargain here when I tell you I'm going to do something. I do want to genuinely do that for you. Tuesday came around, could not film, did not have the time, the patience, that kind of thing. So yesterday carved out a good chunk of time. I was quite chit-chatty. Today I'm going to try to get more to the point because, as you will see, February's is already done. But I'm going to go through the supplies I used. Not all of them are still available. We still will have a little bit of chits and chats about the weekend. It was a very fun weekend. Actually, let's start with that. So, this Friday, my wife was granted the day off as a little present, so to speak, by her boss for her birthday. That was last Tuesday. So, though I had plans made for her for the weekend, I could not say when I put up my last vlog what we were doing because she does watch my vlogs. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I appreciate all y'all who sit and take the time to watch the vlogs, whether it's just a chit-chatty with me on the walking pad or we're actually doing something here, crafting. I plan on filming after this video. I have a little bit of a sewing kind of craft I'm pre-doing, so I'm waiting for part of it to set so I can do the magic of camera time, the magic of Hollywood, and hopefully come out with something good. So that's going to be filmed at some point today. Hopefully will be put up tomorrow. I do realize tomorrow is Friday. I don't want to commit to videos on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I do feel like because this was a very light week, you didn't get Monday through today, I'm trying to make up for it. So let's talk about the weekend. So Friday started like any kind of morning. It was a chill morning. Didn't want to tip off that I had big plans. She knew I had something planned. She thought we were going to go to a fancy dinner in the evening, and just during the day, we were going to go do our Walmart errands and whatever else. It's still very cold here. It's miserable. Things are not melting. I love the snow, but I'm ready for it to be done. It's not enjoyable when you cannot be outside. So I'm ready. I think a lot of people are ready. I think people down south are very ready. We're very ready. So I let it, be a chill day. It was all good. Then about 11-ish, 10:30-ish, probably 10:30-ish, I was like, hey, come upstairs. And I said, hey, can you fill this bag? And I handed her some luggage. And I said, you need 2 days worth, comfortable things, something maybe dressy casual, but, let's err more on the side of casual. Great. We get in the car. We start going. I think she kind of has an idea where we're going. She knew we were going to Wisconsin when it said, hey, welcome to Wisconsin. Would have liked to, a planned trip that I've been trying to plan is a trip to Mall of America. However, especially right now, that was not a good idea. And this time of year is really hard to plan to go to Mall of America because you never know what you're going to get hit out of the blue with for weather. So this is an annual thing. I usually always take her on a trip of some sort. We've been, I believe, 3 times now for birthdays to where we're going in Wisconsin. One year we did Chicago. That was such weird weather. We literally walked around the night we got there, and we drove in t-shirts. It was that warm at the end of January that we were walking around downtown in t-shirts. And then it got a little windy because the Windy City. So we had hoodies, but that's all we needed. And we packed extra just in case, especially being on the lake. And it was just crazy. So last year we were in Arizona. Unfortunately, a family member of my wife's had passed away. And so we were over in Arizona for that. And that's where she spent last year's birthday. And that's where I spent my birthday. Because we ended up having to go back. That's just a whole little long story. But we got to go back to back. And I love Arizona. I'd love to live in Arizona. But I understand, all states have their own weather. I just thought it was great there. I love the mountains. I've been on my walking pad, a little side trail, on YouTube. Found that you can find virtual walking videos. And so I've been walking through Sedona and just beautiful places as if you've been there. Like the birds are singing. It's just, okay, so that's not what this is about. So anyway, we got to where we were going in Wisconsin. We went a little bit shopping at the outlet mall, had a nice dinner. Everything was great. She was so excited because she thought we were going somewhere different in Wisconsin, but I didn't take that exit. And so then she ultimately had no idea where we were going. So we went somewhere where we stayed before, except now it's been updated and very nice, more modernized. Plan to stay there again at some point because it was just a really nice stay. But what she didn't know was what was going to happen at lunch the next day. And unfortunately, there's a little side rant that goes with this. So I took her to the restaurant. Now, this is after a few weeks of finding out who all can be there, organizing it, making sure that the restaurant will have room, all the whole thing. Then come to find out, the restaurant will not take reservations, which I think is ridiculous, especially on a weekend, especially for a birthday. They have themed rooms, and when you want to sit at a specific one, you should get to, reserve it. But I have a family friend that I said, hey, could you, when everybody gets there, kind of round them up? This is the room we want to sit in. This is how many chairs we need. Great. Not a problem. They got there early enough. Everybody showed up. The restaurant, here comes the rant, the restaurant would not seat them until we were there, which totally negates a surprise party, in my opinion. Everybody was there. They knew the total of seats needed. All that was missing was myself and my wife. And yet they were made to stand with balloons in hand. And, she got a couple gifts. That was not necessary, but it's always appreciated when somebody gives you a little something, something. And they're standing there in the front lobby area. And, it's kind of hard to do the, hey, surprise, because they're right there at the doors. So that was a letdown. That is something that they should really change. The food, however, restaurant's great. We did get to seat right exactly where I wanted to because I had checked it out the last time her and I had eaten there. But we never ate in any of the themed rooms. This was a Star Wars themed big giant Lego setup. And she got to sit right next to the plexiglass that surrounds it. And they serve you your meal on a train. It comes out. It's so neat. At the end, they had another little train come out, and it was automatic bubble blowers. That was fantastic. I mean, so that helped make up for it, but it's kind of silly the way they do things. But anyway, she had a great time. We spent a little time after that. I mean, it was great fun. Everybody had a good time. When people were leaving, my two sons decided to hang out with us. There's an arcade attached, and we'd been to it multiple times. They changed it. It's not as fun anymore, but we hung out there. We had a good time. We got a few things for the grandkids. The little claw machines, the little duck machines and that. So it was fun. Got to spend some time with them, and then they separated and went to their separate homes, and her and I hung out a little bit. We went to a couple different stores, and then we just kicked back at the motel, relaxed. I think we had Burger King for dinner that night. It was nice. It was just chill. We watched some old movies that we hadn't seen in a while. It was just all in all a nice getaway. Topped that off. The next day we went and we saw my mom. Had a nice visit with her and little Sammy. And it was just nice to be able to stop and do that. She wasn't able to make the party. And I was just glad that we were able to visit. Had good weather going home, got home literally just as it started to snow again. So that was our weekend. That's what we did there. She was so excited, so surprised. So I pulled it off. I don't know if I can do that again, but I'll try. I got a whole year to plan. And speaking of plan, let's get to it. So like I said, we're done with this, but I'll show you everything I used. Actually, let me do that first. So part of what I used came out of this paper packet. This paper packet came from Michael's. It's Recollections makes this. I don't know if they still have this particular pad, but like I said in yesterday's video, these lines you can cut. And of course, I did use the paper cutter. You can cut these out, and you'll see on here, I didn't do it, but you can, or you can use the paper washi tape. There's headers, and on some planners, there's a space at the bottom, not on this one though. But we used, papers that came out of here. We cut them up, made a dashboard card out of that. This could be used for spring. You don't always have to use it, like this is Valentine's Day. You can use it for other things. You don't have to wait for one specific day to tell somebody how you feel. So we used a little bit of that. I used a little bit of open stock scrapbook paper. You can get open stock scrapbook paper at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, independent crafting places. We have a place downtown here called the Scrap Jar, and people take, this is a decent usable piece. You can take your gently used, still good enough, plenty enough crafting items to this place, and it's kind of like taking it to a thrift store. They will resell it. I have gotten all kinds of neat fabric from this place for prices that you would not pay at a craft store. So check out your local shops, your independents, your little pop-ups. You never know what you're going to find. I used a little bit of this because I don't have like I had in January, the little thing that you put under. I call it a dashboard as well, or it's a little separator, or like a bookmark, so you know where you left off. But this is open stock. I believe this came from Michael's years ago, and I've used little bits of it here and there, and I still have plenty. Big sheets like that, I will hang on to. Sheets this size, I will hang on to. I'm trying to get away from keeping little bits because it ends up collecting in a shoebox, like of a clear shoebox, plastic, and then you just never use it. And so then why keep it? Because you're taking up space. And then I have this. This is the Happy Planner. Now, what I discussed yesterday is I like this planner. I like the layout. I do not like this binding. It's hard to work with. I like when I do a layout, I like to take my sheets out. I will show you in a minute what I mean. Because I deleted by accident yesterday's video, I was able to get my planner that I was using up to a year ago. But I got this. Now, sometimes the Forest of Many Dollars will carry these pads. These are the Happy Planner sticker pads. But this one's very thick. You'll get the thicker ones at like the craft stores. The Dollar Tree ones, and I do have some, they are about half the size, which is still a good bargain. This is the Seasons one. And so, you'll see I've torn some out. These are the size of like the Happy Planner squares, but you can cut them down. You can diagonal them. You can place them anywhere you want because, again, it's your planner. It's your plan. It's your design. It's your creativity. But you'll see it's got the different seasons. I've used quite a bit of Halloween. We've got fall. We've got summer stickers. And you can mix and match. Like I used one out of the spring one, but I used it because it was a heart. I see there's like a shamrock here. So you can use them in any season, any layout, no rhyme, no reason. If it makes sense to you, then it makes sense. So these are always a good bargain. I like getting these because I'm more apt to use this up than a bunch of just loose. Now, mind you, I have 2 drawers full of stickers, but I'm more apt to use this up before digging through all said other stickers. But I've had those other stickers and in the binders for quite some time. All right, so let's flip to this. I do not have a February. I do not know why. You're upside down. I do not know why, but we made this one the same on both sides, and it's the January one that I was using. And so I got a little bit cockeyed and I didn't cut it off. But what I did do was I ripped it because I was trying to fix it. So I just left it because sometimes it's meant to look this way. So on one side I used that paper, on one side I used that paper, and then to get it to fit the binder, you'll notice that the holes aren't the same. Some of them are rectangle and some of them look like a little mushroom. That's because we picked this up on clearance, Walmart, and not sponsored by any means. But this, I had always wanted one, and they were always kind of expensive for my liking. And this is the big one. You can fit the big Happy Planner page, or you can get the smaller Happy Planner page, or you can do like I did and make it work for your spiral by cutting out. This will give you the little mushroom shape. You can't move these. They're secured in there. And you use it just like a paper punch. And then what I did was I ran it through here. See if I stick them on, no problem with the mushroom ones. But then I drew the lines. Every other one needs to be cut when you're using, well, at least this spiral bound one. And so that's what goes on there for my days. And we don't need to see on my to-do list. But yeah, so you'll just stick that on there. You can do either side because I didn't make any specific on this. And it's just a nice way to see where you've left off, what you've got coming up, that kind of thing. You know, it's just another element. Speaking of other elements, I did find this in my one planner. You can make things that look like little bookmarks. But what I've done is I strung some beads. This is an elastic clear cord. And you can clip it. And it's just, it shows you where you're at if you're, because the tabs tell you the month, but then you'll have several pages. I've seen a lot of people, you know, do different kind of bookmarks. They call them different things. I'm slowly learning about junk journaling. I'm not probably going to do that. It's interesting, but we all know I don't need another craft. We're just going to go there and put that right there and put the lid on it. So this is what I did. Let me turn that around for you. All right. So this is what I did. And like I said, the stickers, you can make them to go anywhere you want. These are two different stickers. For all intensive purposes, you might actually journal over there. I have other little embellishments. These are brads. You know, they're little metal pins. We have different hearts. We have light pink, darker pink, red. We got little circles, squares, snowflakes, stars. And all you do is just punch it through the paper. We got little flowers, little teeny tiny flowers. Look at that. Look how little that is. So all kinds of embellishments. And I found this at a like a Goodwill or like a thrift. I think it was like a Goodwill. So it came in this case. And it was very inexpensive and very usable. I don't know who Brad is, but if anybody else knows, let him know that I have his case of these, and I think that they're great. And then this I used. This is from, I believe it's, Creative Memories. I went to a scrapping boot camp years and years ago. And it was a stay up all night, 24-hour scrap camp. And you stayed at the motel. It was me, a couple of sisters, and a friend of theirs, and we all split a room. And you could literally walk down to the ballroom that was rented out, and it was tables and tables of women scrapping. I think there might have been a couple of men. And it was fun. It was just a nice night, day, early crack of chicken, and everybody was just scrapbooking. Well, they had a vendor that was there, and I thought that this was really cool. I do have, although I didn't pull it out, I do have a Happy Planner one that is the longer, like like the sticker size here. I didn't pull that out. I should have grabbed that to show you. It's the same color pink as that one. I will have to show it to you. But these littler ones here, well, let me show you where you can see. These littler ones are here. They're the 1.25 inches. And then the bigger ones are 1.5 inches. And what you'll do is you'll slide the paper in, and I can show that to you. Let me grab this. You'll slide it in, and I'll make one of each. This is the 1.5, and this is the 1.25. You can also use these to make windows, like when you're scrapbooking, making miniature doll houses. You can frame around pictures. You can even cut this out and put it in your planner. Sky's the limit. Your creativity is overflowing. But that's what comes out. And you can layer them. I will keep these because they'll be usable. Even though I said I don't keep the little tiny. I mean, I don't keep the little, like, junky things that cannot be used. And I can use this when I make Valentine's Day cards. I can drop that in there, put a little note on there, fold it up. It's all good. But you'll see, this is where I put a couple of brads. Got some stickers. I want to make sure you can see good. I put some stickers in. I layered. I made little clusters. This is the card that I pulled out, and it's just the paper. I didn't do anything to it other than the punch, and then had to cut it myself to make it work. I added a little brad here at the bottom, some more little bits, and then because this side was too plain, I just added what I had left. If I would have had some more, like I very much could add these. I've got some here, and you can just, well, that one just tucked right in. So you can do things like that and just play with it a little bit. You can add anything. You can even add an envelope. You can make your own envelopes. I've got a few that I've made. I have a We Are Memories, I think that's what it's called. And it makes envelopes. And you just hole punch it, stick it in there, and then you can tuck in, like, say for Valentine's Day, you went out to a dinner theater or something, or a concert. You can put those stubs in there, and then this also serves like a scrapbook. And you have the date. So some people plainly just scrapbook with pictures. Some people, this would be considered like a scrapbook. It's a planner. You make it how you want. You don't have to put anything on your planner. You can keep it nice and clean. You can just fill up what you need to here. If you have birthdays to remember. This up here is what I would call the headliner. And that's where I was showing you with that one pad where you can cut the strips out. If you wanted to add just something up here instead of that. That's cool. Like I said, then you have the lines here. I do like this layout where you have ample room to write all your things to do. But, this is real estate too. You can add stickers. You can add motivational phrases. I've recently started this workout program. Sometimes I could use a little pep to myself because, you're doing it for yourself, but you can also talk yourself out of things, or at least I can. So that's what we got. That's the done deal. Promise I won't delete this one. This tablet recording, like I said, it's new to me. Apparently you have to sync it somehow so you don't lose things that you record or take pictures of. I don't know, but it was gone. So we've got that. We're doing pretty good. We're still within the first week of the month, so we're not too shabby. We're not too far behind. But, looking ahead, and these are all pretty much the same here, but looking ahead, March is going to be coming before we even know it. Maybe drop some ideas below on what kind of theme you think this should be, because I'll tell you, I probably have the paper that would work for it, and the stickers and everything else for that matter. So that's that. That's what we did yesterday. That was the discussion yesterday, but I also wanted to show you the Happy Planner. Not endorsed, not anything. I'm not linking any products that I'm trying to sell. I'm just showing you what I like. So I got this a while back, and I used it, and I took the old calendar out, and I'm one that I will bind it up and keep it just for memory's sake. But I really liked she designed a life she loved. I really liked it. I love pink. The flowers were great. But I needed paper for it. So you can go online, and I just typed it in. I did a search, Google search, and it brought me up. I don't believe she's Etsy. It's just a company. And I chose this cat one that they had. I kept what I would call the dashboards. These are the months. This is old because this is October. This is from the one I had. And what I did was, because this is on this side would be the beginning calendar for October. But what I did was I put scrap paper on it, put a little brad on there to design it up, a nice little saying. This is the theme that I got was the cat. And I put this page, and then on this side is the calendar. And that's how this came. You write the dates. Okay, so this is old. This is from October, not this year, probably last year. Like not 2025, but we're talking 2024 was the last I used this. So again, I saved all the months from the original Happy Planner. I have not done like I did before with the paper. Not on all of them. It didn't bother me, so I left it. But this is some ideas of how you can scrap. Now this I kept very simple. I journaled where I needed. This doesn't have necessarily like the other one where I have the lines. So I will probably use up what I have, and then I will either print out, because you can find a lot of free printables, and because now that I have this punch, and this is not the big Happy Planner, this is the next size down, it gives you lines here. So on each end would cut for the big, and then on the insides would cut for this size. So you could even take paper as long as it fits, put your, cuts in there, sky's the limit. I even have bigger rings than this because I have some of the big Happy Planners, and you can add multiple years. Or like I said, you can pull them all out, bind them up, clip them with one of those bulldog clips, save it in like a memory box. Okay, and see, that's the back. And I didn't want to just glue this to it, although I thought about it, but then I'm not going to be having the same every month. That's why it's important to just do the one side instead of assuming, and I'll just glue this. It's really what you want to do. This is my Christmas list that I wrote out. In time, it'll be neat to go back and look and see what I thought was important. Our little elf on the shelf left me a note, so I kept that there. I may put an envelope in there to keep it. Or again, I may remove all of this. I probably will when I start fresh, because again, I need to do that. We just had January. I didn't, obviously, because I stopped using this. Really, a lot of life was happening. A lot of renovations were happening. And, for me, I don't take time really just for myself. And I'm learning, because like I tell you guys, take time for yourself. You're important. Self-care is important. And all of that truly, truly is important. It's something I'm learning. I'm working on it. So February in this one, clearly from January on, is all blank. So that's why I believe I will continue to use through this. I think I have enough. I do. I have enough to go all the way to September with this theme. So that's what I'm going to do. I could even Xerox this. I mean, I don't know that I need to have the cat on there. It's cute and funny and all. I'm also a big Hello Kitty girl, if you haven't figured that out by now. So you can go and find things, and you can design your own papers. You just need what size you have. And if you have the paper cutter, you can cut them down, make it fit. So you can make your own. You can save your Happy Planners. And this is why I like them, is because you can take them out. You can take them out lay them on the table. It's easier to work on than having things underneath that you're kind of dealing with. And you can move dashboards around, you can add. They have dividers you can buy. I also have a laminator. So I have in the past, I don't have it in here. In the past, I have made my own covers. And you can get inspirational quotes off the internet. You just put it on a piece of paper, print it out. You slip it through the laminator, and then you have a front and a back. If I can find that, although I do believe that that is packed way in the garage with all of my other memory stuff. But you can easily make your own covers. It's just laminated. That's all it is. And laminators are not expensive if you are going to use them frequently. It's nice to laminate recipes that you put in the sleeves, because if they're handwritten and it's like an heirloom kind of thing, you'll have that forever in their writing. So that's what I got for you. I'm sticking to the table with my magnet bracelet here. Let me turn that around. So I appreciate you hanging on, watching this all the way through. If something inspired you, and I hope it did, I hope you have fun making it. I hope you can find all kinds of things that you like, and just get creative. Take a few minutes, take a half hour for yourself. The time it took me to talk to you about this was a half hour, and that included talking about our weekend plans that we had. Just take a little time for yourself. Do a couple pages. Journal and put some stickers on it. You know, anything that's important to you, it's important enough that you'll want to remember it. So, that being said, you know how this goes. Don't worry so much. I'm working on that too. And I am finding that it's not that tough. Take time for yourself. Know how important you are. And never let anyone make you feel less. Don't lose your sparkle, because you're more than just a face. We'll see you soon.